Right, different parts and structures of human brain model. This is the like anterior. This is frontal. So that's the frontal lobe. We have the precentral gyrus, the central sulcus, that groove over here, post-central gyrus. So that's going to be the parietal, and then occipital lobe over here, temporal lobe with the lateral sulcus, right? So at least we can identify this lateral sulcus from this view and the central sulcus. So the human brain, you know, we have like a lot of convolution. The bumps or the actual tissue is called, you know, the gyri, plural gyrus, and all these indentations, like, or the linings in between there, like in the brain, you know, specimen will be like more kind of like dark colored, or, you know, blackish, because it has like a lot of blood vessels inside. The two cerebral hemispheres, so this way you're going to be, you know, straight right and left, because you're sitting behind. If you're kind of like you move it like to the front, face to face. So let me fix this. So face to face. So I'm facing that, you know, person. So now I can swap my hands. So this will be my right hand. So it will be the right hemisphere, and this is my left hand. So this is the left hemisphere. I swap right left because I'm looking face to face with the model. And then the fissure in between, that's kind of like a deeper a groove, that's your longitudinal median fissure. What else we have from the external view? We can also see the fissure that separates cerebrum from cerebellum. So this will be the transverse fissure, cerebellum, okay, on the ventral or the inferior side here. You got your cranial nerves showing, and this is pituitary gland. It's kind of hanging from, coming from, you know, a tiny duct-like structure, the infundibulum that comes from the hypothalamus, which is deep inside the brain, and the diencephalon. Cranial nerve number 1, olfactory, with the bulb, the tip, and the tract, the rest of it, and then optic nerve, the point of intersection of this X-like optic nerves. The point of intersection in the middle will be optic chiasma, and then the tract will be the rest of it. So if you think of this as an X-like structure, the horns, the X will be the optic nerve, the point of intersection, chiasma, and the rest, the legs of the X, will be your optic tracts. So eventually, you know, your images will come from here and go to, eventually, after you stop at the thalamus, you go to the occipital lobe, which is, you know, the area of, you know, controlling your vision. So this is brain stem, still external anatomy. On the brain stem, the last part would be, you know, ending from medulla oblongata to spinal cord as it exits foramen magnum. This bump here is the pons, and we have a bunch of cranial nerves that are, you know, branching off in here. They're extending from it. Okay, I don't know if you can see the numbers. Okay. As we dissect, you know, brains, we might see big nerves. Like the obvious ones will be olfactory, optic, and then the fifth one over here on this side that branches off to give 3 big branches on the side of the pituitary gland if you're dissecting a sheep brain. So that will be the trigeminal nerve, which is nerve number 5 over here. We have number 7 and 8, the facial and vestibulocochlear over here, over this side. Okay, now let's, yeah, by the way, you might be also asked to identify this fissure, which is ventral fissure, right? It's actually, you know, in our body, it's going to be like inferior side, right? Inferior side, and the superior of the brain on the opposite side. So let me try to control this and open it. 1 sec. Okay, so this is kind of like a cleaner part. Internal anatomy, and this is the right side of the brain, the right hemisphere, cerebrum. Okay, let it stand like that. So it's cool here. So we have your corpus callosum that connects your hemispheres, and this arch over here is the rostrum and splenium, the back. This pinkish structure is the choroid plexus that, it's rich in blood vessels, ependymal glial cells that make your cerebrospinal fluid. And this part that arches down is the fornix. This is a thin membrane structure that's called the septum pellucidum. Underneath it, there is a ventricle. Let's go the lateral ventricle that we have on both sides. So that's, have two lateral ventricles on the right and the left sides, and separated by septum pellucidum. So corpus callosum, septum pellucidum, fornix, choroid plexus. Over here in the back, we have pineal body that makes our melatonin. The thalamus, this area surrounded by the tubing that contains cerebrospinal fluid as well, which is called third ventricle in the same area here. And then hypothalamus that connects with the stalk, infundibulum. On the outside, you will have your pituitary gland that sits in your sella turcica on the skull. So if you take the other side of the brain model, so we have corpus callosum, septum pellucidum, fornix, and this is choroid plexus, the thalamus, hypothalamus right below, intermediate mass of the thalamus, this brownish circle. This is pituitary gland connected by this tiny wire, which is the infundibulum. Okay, so over here I have my midbrain. This quadrilateral structure is the corpora quadrigemina. It has 4 bumps. That's why it's quadrigemina, 4 bumps. The top bumps are superior colliculi, inferior colliculi. Right, so that's for visual reflex, for auditory reflexes. Inside your cerebellum, we have arrangements of, white matter and, the myelinated axons that look like a tree, the tree of life, or arbor vitae. The third ventricle takes the cerebrospinal fluid down to the cerebral aqueduct. This duct is cerebral aqueduct, and then kind of like I have a crevice over here. That's the fourth ventricle. And then it goes down to the central canal that continues down in the spinal cord in the central canal. Midbrain, top part of the brainstem, pons, right? And pons is important, during your sleep, the REM sleep, right? The REM stage. This is medulla oblongata, and it's gonna continue as a spinal cord, below that. So I guess that's, the most important. These are the most important parts. So don't forget, this is pituitary gland, and this is the pineal body on the opposite side. Corpora quadrigemina, midbrain, pons, medulla, spinal cord, and arbor vitae inside the cerebellum. Remember, main parts of the brain, your cerebrum, cerebellum, brain stem, and inside here you have diencephalon with the thalamus, like 80% of the brainstem, the diencephalon, and hypothalamus that has a lot of structure, a lot of functions here. You go over in lecture. That's hypothalamus. Like the hypothalamus makes your oxytocin during labor. It makes your vasopressin, that controls water retention and urine formation that comes from this side. And then pituitary gland is considered master gland. It secretes like at least 7 different hormones that come from this side over here. Okay, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this, a little bit longer video, longer than usual. Thank you so much.